Well, there it is, my 65 Ironhead with a bolt-on hardtail. I got this hardtail from Lowbrow Customs. It was on sale a couple months ago. I paid retail, my own money. This is not a sponsored post. Now, Lowbrow Customs actually has a really great video series building an Ironhead chopper using a very similar hardtail to this one. But they start from a bare frame. I wanted to document the process with a complete running bike. So to start with, we'll jack the bike up and remove all of the parts that are either in the way or we're taking off completely. I realized working on an old Harley in khaki pants was a stupid idea. I clean my hands off before I can touch the camera controls. Problem with working on a greasy, dirty bike like this is gotta wash my hands after every shot.
Police car and chance of getting the Brett's out. Yeah! This is car in 2022. Not that we can't see euros and good. It's just a piece of fine art.
You know, it works. All right, so this might be the hardest part of the entire install, is removing that swing arm. Now, it's only held in by one bolt, so you just pull that out and off it comes. It's simple, right? Right? Fellas, it has come to the point where I have to break out the big gun. Huh. I won't go into backward anymore. Wow. Okay, I guess the Harley won that round. I probably should have seen that coming. When swing arm bolts are in there for a very long time, they can get covered in dirt and old grease and rust and be very difficult to pull out. With most motorcycles, you can go to the other side and hammer out the bolt with like a drift. But, well, we've got an engine case in the way here, so can't do that. Now, I could just drop the motor out and then, get at it with the drift. But what I have done is I hit it with some penetrating fluid, left that overnight, and now I've got this tool, slide hammer. We'll see if that will do the trick. I have one of these. I don't know what I did with it though. So this one's new, a cheapy thing from Harbor Freight. Basically this holds the bolt, and if you're a Harley guy, you're probably very familiar with this motion. So this should be pretty easy for you. Okay, this fucker just started moving. Took a lot of effort to get to this point, a lot of PB blaster. Even had to make my own little tool for the slide hammer, but I'll show you that when I pull this stupid fucker out. Oh, thank fucking God. As you can see, I had this scrap piece of tubing lying around. Just milled a slot in there, 3/4 of an inch wide, to go over this, what is this, 5/8? Fuck. Yeah, you can see like some of the corrosion and stuff that was keeping this from sliding off easily. Man, that was a lot of work. I should have just dropped the fucking motor. It would have been easier. Let's see if this thing comes out. The bearings can be kind of a pain. They can kind of squish into the frame and be a little difficult for this thing to come out. Oh, easy, easy. Beautiful. All right. You know, I get a lot of comments on this channel about how like these videos are like a chill watch. It's very zen shit, you know. But ooh, man, this one, this got me feeling some way. Anyway, I just have a couple more steps to do before I can put the hardtail on. I'm going to remove the fender struts and that exhaust mount down below, and then just do a little cleanup. There's a lot of oil down there. It's an Ironhead, and it leaks a little. So you can see I've started doing a test fit up with a hardtail. I have the lower front bolts in. I'm running into an issue where when I try to lift this into place, I'm contacting that like frame horn right there. Measuring this all out, I'm about a 1/16 of an inch oversize from the outside to the outside of that frame spar. You can see I've already like filed off the paint on both sides, so that's not it. To be clear, that is not an indictment of the manufacturer of the hardtail. It's just that this bike is, I mean, this frame was made in the 60s, maybe in the 50s. I don't know if it's the original to the motor. And who knows what happened in, you know, the time between when it was built and now. It could have bent, or maybe the tolerances weren't that tight to begin with. Anyway, I'm just gonna grab a angle grinder, remove a little material from both sides, and then we'll be good to go. Really should have put this stupid thing on the lift, because now I have to sit on the floor all day. Just to be clear, I use the file after the angle grinder to make sure that it stays relatively flat. Did a bit more test fitting. Got the bottom mounts all set up, I'm pretty sure. So I've pulled the whole thing off again. I think this is going to be the final test fit. We're going to start at the top, bolt those two pieces in, and then kind of fit the bottom into place after that. Okay, loosely bolting it into place. Sorry if my head's in the way. There we go. I'll just do the other side. Hopefully it all works okay. Yeah. Okay, so I've got this thing more or less bolted into place. Again, this is just a test fit. What do you say we throw the rear wheel on there and see how it fits, huh? Okay, so I thought that install was pretty damn easy, honestly. If it weren't for that stuck swing arm bolt and having to record and stuff, I probably could have knocked that out in just a couple of hours. Now I'm gonna have to make sure that everything is nice and straight and even. I have the feeling that this thing might be a little tweaked. You can see I'm reusing the stock axle adjusters there and there, which I realized after the fact that that's actually a pretty stupid idea and I should have just used the bolts that they supplied. Whatever. Anyway, I'm realizing that this stock spacer, or at least maybe stock spacer, I don't know, the stock spacer is a little long. So that means that this distance is slightly smaller than the swing arm I took this wheel off of. And this distance was a little bit longer, enough that I could use this spacer with those factory axle adjusters. Now I have done some pretty basic measurements, and it appears to me that the distance here at the axle is about 1/2 inch smaller than this dimension here. Now, I am no frameologist, so maybe that's just by design, but it's also possible that, I don't know, like a UPS truck fucking backed into this thing during shipping. I eventually did get the rear wheel to fit with the stock spacers and everything. It just involved a big ass threaded rod and like pushing the axle plates apart until after they sprung back, they were in like relatively the right distance apart. Is that the right way to do it? Probably not. I mean, it's just metal, and honestly, the bike couldn't really ride any worse than it already did. I would suggest just like go to customer service or whatever, all right? Okay, so like what did I think of that whole install? I mean, honestly, it was really easy. I didn't have to do any cutting or welding or anything. It's just take stuff off, put stuff on. Technically, you're supposed to trim the frame horns down a little bit, but that's more of an aesthetic thing with these, like the pre-69, this particular one. You can actually leave them intact, which is how I have it right now. I'm undecided whether I'm going to cut them off just yet. That leads me into like my next part. Why would you want to do a bolt-on instead of a weld-on hardtail on one of these bikes? And there's a couple reasons for that. First is, and this is not really a major concern for me personally, but these early Ironheads are starting to become a little more collectible, and like cutting up the frame, obviously, you know, that's going to devalue things in the future. So if you ever think you might return the bike to stock, then this is a pretty good way to go. Secondly, you know, obviously I did this in just a couple of hours, and that's even with filming this whole video. So, you know, obviously there's a lot left to do before this is on the road, but, you know, I've done a couple weld-on hardtails, and this takes like a quarter of the time. And finally, the last thing kind of concerns aesthetics, right? Now, a lot of people really don't like bolt-on hardtails because they tend to like add a kink into the line of the backbone, like the line that the tank kind of follows, right? I think the Ironhead in particular is one of the few bikes where it actually kind of works, that kink in the backbone. Wait, let me show you. See what I mean? The backbone of the frame is straight, and then you hit the seat post and it angles down a little bit further. A lot of people don't like that. Totally fine, justifiable. I happen to like how it looks on this particular bike. Now the thing with these like KR style hardtails, the ones with the loop on the back, they're meant to evoke like that racy flat track look of the KR model. And so it's like an interesting choice to have a 2-inch stretch, 2-inch drop hardtail mimicking like a race style, but I don't know, it's a little different. I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do as far as like a fender, you know, whether or not I run a sissy bar, what kind of seat is gonna go on here. I should have probably planned this out beforehand, but you know, yeah. So for like the 4 people that are considering buying one of these hardtails for this particular early model of Sportster, I hope this was helpful for you, and for the rest of y'all, I hope it was enjoyable seeing me get mad at a bolt. Okay, good night.